All right, finally getting to some additional thoughts on the Roots, how I got over. Took a little longer to get here because of Labor Day weekend, and it's funny how a couple days away from the computer, away from everything, honestly, we're up in the mountains, will throw off my entire routine. I like this album. Man, I'm so glad I have changed my format a little bit and given myself a couple weeks with each album now rather than doing additional thoughts like the next week. It's nice having it spread out. I don't feel so rushed, and it's nice having a couple albums in the mix as you know through the weeks. But this one, man, every time I put it on, I enjoy it. I really fell in love with Questlove and his beats in here. The only complaint I have about this album is really the last couple tracks. Like for me, The Fire, that's the end. That's the end of the album. I don't once that's done, I stop. So really for me it's 11 track, 38 minute, 35 something like that. So it's a cool little run. And actually speaking of runnings, I put it on again this morning, one more time as I went for a jog this morning. And I really enjoyed how, Black Thought and his lyrics and the course that the album takes in terms of kind of starting with the struggles and the frustrations. Like Dear God 2.0 is a fantastic song. A fantastic song. I really like that song. Especially, I pulled up the lyrics, but especially where he's talking about technology turning us into zombies. But then there was a line that jumped out. And I heard it a couple days ago, on the re-listen. Something that's fun with re-listens, right? You hear different lines that jump out. And on that one, there was they're trying to convince me that I'm not trying. And it's such a great line. And this album came out almost 15 years ago now. Almost. 14 years ago. And the things that he's describing in Dear God 2.0, especially this theme of doubt and how the bridge is, or what is it, the chorus here, sometimes it's hard to believe in, where on the first chorus it talks about, I know you have your reasons, but when the song ends, that line is not in, or I guess it's structured as the hook there. So it's just this hanging doubt in this questioning of why, but also it being 15 years old and what he was concerned about then compared to where we are now. And it feels like it's worse now, especially the concept of technology turning people into zombies and stuff like that. Great song. And I really like Radio Days. I was going to put a list like, okay, what are my favorite tracks? All of them. I mean, I love the run from Walk Alone all the way through The Fire is great. It's excellent. It's just excellent. Radio Days I really enjoy. Now or Never. I would say my favorite is How I Got Over. That's my favorite track from the album. I love how the energy picks up and you kind of turn the corner from frustration and doubt and suffering and trying to get through this to How I Got Over and actually getting through it. So I like that there's this kind of beginning and end point in terms of like an emotional arc, and I like how it lifts up. You start low but you lift up through the album. But the day, Ride On, I like Ride On quite a bit. Doing It Again, The Fire, all of it. I love, especially Doing It Again, I love the piano in that track. Great album. Now, it was funny because I had a conversation, I don't know, a week or two ago with somebody on Discord because he was asking, how come, why this one? Like the Roots, there's Game Theory and there's Undone and Philadelphia or something like that. Like, how come you picked this one? I was like, well, I got chatted up for it. I was like, okay. But like, this isn't even one of their best ones. I was like, are you serious? Like, this one's great. Oh yeah, no, all the Roots albums are amazing. I was like, oh shit, man. Like, if this isn't even considered one of their better albums, goddamn, there's definitely going to be some more Roots reactions in my future, for sure. I love what these guys do. And there's something, sometimes you can tell in production when it's a loop and when you can kind of tell that type of style. And not that you can always tell when it's a live band being performed, live instead of a beat machine or something like that. But man, I really, really enjoy a live band. There's just this subtle layer that adds to the music that I really enjoy. And I think that's with Questlove, man, I fell in love with so many of his drum beats. He's just got this great crisp pop to the drums that he puts in this album. It's fun to listen to. And I guess that's it. Honestly, I was looking, this reaction didn't get a lot of views, which is fine. No big deal. I really don't make my decisions based off of trying to get views. It's more what sounds interesting and what I feel like should be explored and so on. But I wonder if this is one of those albums that gets kind of overlooked or lost in the shuffle a little bit, especially if you consider the idea of the roots in their catalog and how good it is. It's weird how you'll have some groups or artists or whatever where their catalog is so strong that, yeah, their fourth best album kind of gets forgotten a little bit, but it's still better than like so many other albums out there, right? Like that's just kind of wild to me when that happens. Pretty wild. And this one, man, I love it. And I think too that there's not that there's like a lot of rock element. I think it being a live band adds to it for me a little bit. The drums being in there. If there was a guitarist, oh fuck, it'd be over. It'd be over for me. Like this would, that would totally lock it down in terms of how much I enjoy this album. But good listen. Every time I put it on too. Yeah, I like it. And I just let it run through to the fire and I turn it off because that's where it ends, the fire. And it's actually a fun fact. I did some research. The version that's on Spotify, it's like a bugged error version where it has these 3 songs that aren't supposed to be there. I'm just kidding. It's not like the songs are terrible, but I feel like the fire is such a great, strong closer. And then Tunnel Vision is this weird, like, it's like, what the fuck is going on? And then there's 2 more songs, and it's odd to me. The end. Anyway. All right, y'all. There you go. Take care. And we'll see you soon.